Welcome back to AM Northwest. If your teenage daughter is gearing up for fall sports, how is she handling the pressure to perform, her changing body, and maybe even body image issues? Here with insights for both parents and coaches, we welcome back the co-author of The Price She Pays, Dr. Tiffany Brown. Good to see you again, Doctor.
Good to see you.
Let's start with this. What is our mindset as parents of teenage daughters? What do you suggest we think about and maybe ask her?
I think it's about conversations about puberty and changes. The body is changing so much, and girls can feel it. Their center of gravity shifts when they start puberty, and so when they're in sports, their confidence can easily decrease because everything is shifting. They're not as fast as they were, as agile as they were, and so a lot of girls are dropping out of sport, probably earlier than they should because of those changes. It just doesn't feel good.
So when your daughter says, I don't want to do soccer this year or track this year, whatever it is, do you have a conversation about why is that?
Absolutely. That conversation is key. And, you know, on the one hand, supporting girls or any kid to make a decision that feels best to them about participating or not, but really exploring, is this because of something that is temporary and changeable? Is it a fear? Or is there something happening within their experience of sports that is making it so they don't want to participate any longer?
So do parents then also talk to the coaches to find out if something's going on?
Would be great. And especially if coaches could have conversations with teams, especially girls teams and women's sports, around what is happening, what is normal around that time in terms of puberty. And especially in all of our work for the book that we wrote, we talked to several girls who had coaches who had kind of period packs that were available to them. And so tampons and pads and menstruation, materials were available at any time. So the conversation was continuously open about the fact that girls have periods and girls who have periods play sports.
Well, and I think so many young women, I mean, growing up, we as women, you had to hide the tampons. You had to hide the fact that, and everyone had an accident at some point or another.
Yes.
Right?
And imagine if you were playing a sport and your sport required you to wear kind of bikini bottoms. So there's some, track and volleyball, or really, really short shorts or white shorts. And so we have a long ways to go to ensure that the sports that young girls are playing are also amenable to the experiences of having your period.
Do you talk to coaches about how they can help young women with this?
Absolutely. And we have a lot of conversations about what to be saying, how to be saying it, and really to open up those doors so that girls and young people can come forward and say, I don't know, I'm just not feeling right today, or I have really, really bad cramps, or my period is especially difficult this month. Having that conversation and just really normalizing that with young girls, because it's new to them.
Right.
And like you said, it can be embarrassing at times. You feel like you're the only one that it's happening to. And so for coaches to really normalize that and say, hang in there, maybe not push as hard today, could really go a long way to keep girls in sport.
Do you talk to your daughter too about if her shape is changing? She's gained weight and she's now got hips and she didn't before, that realistically her expectations need to change too.
Right. Expectations need to change while recognizing that the body is doing this, quite miraculous thing in terms of its puberty cycle, and being able to acknowledge how different it feels and how different that can feel when you're also trying to play a sport or move fast or move quickly. Being able to talk about that really allows it to feel like, oh, it's okay, and I can get on the other side of this and it can feel more normal.
Are there some sports that are more prone to having girls be concerned about body image issues and also concerned about your period or any of that? Like I'm thinking like track, gymnastics.
Yes. Some of those aesthetic sports, especially gymnastics, track is one. There's a culture of coaches, kind of old school coaches, that will congratulate young girls if they've been able to avoid their puberty. So if they haven't started their period yet, it's almost like a badge of honor that they're doing something nutrition-wise or in terms of how their body is.
Which means they're not eating enough?
Exactly. They're not eating enough. They're not getting the right nutrition. And so all the things that don't allow for someone to have longevity in sport, but at the short term allow for them to be small and little, which can benefit coaches, especially when they're trying to get high performance and sometimes.
Well, that brings me to gymnastics. I know it used to be the thought that the girls needed to be as thin as possible. That's not the case anymore. At least that's what I've seemed to see.
We're seeing a big difference. I
Yeah.
think we saw that definitely at the Olympics this year, but we're seeing a difference in terms of, you know, the acceptance of all the different shapes of bodies in athletics, and that girls and women don't have to be teeny tiny to be strong and to be competitive. And we've seen that a lot across the last couple of years of that shift, and really celebrating that women can look a lot of different ways and still be powerful and incredible.
Yeah. Anything else that you think is important for us to know as parents, as coaches, as teachers?
I think the most important, and sometimes it might seem like the smallest, is to have the conversation.
Okay.
Talk with young girls, talk with young people about what's happening, what does it feel like, and not just a zoomed out, how are you doing conversation, but what does it feel like, what do you need? The more we have that dialogue, the more that people can step forward and say, you know, I'm having a hard time, and that hard time can then translate to them having some ideas and resources so that we don't have so many girls dropping out of sport at such an early age.
And I think also too to normalize that if you're having period pain or that kind of issue, let us know so we can get you some help.
Let us know,
you know.
and then also not expect young kids to push through that.
Right, absolutely, because it can be devastating.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We want to tell everyone the book again is titled
The Price She Pays.
Thank you very much. All right. And that's Dr. Tiffany Brown. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.